Here's something that sounds impossible. A food with 0 grams of sugar can spike your blood sugar higher than a candy bar. And a food that tastes intensely sweet can barely move your blood sugar at all. If that sounds backwards, it's because almost everything we're taught about healthy eating focuses on the wrong number. We check sugar grams, we check calories. We almost never check the one number that actually predicts what a food does to your blood sugar in real time, the glycemic index. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what that number means, why it matters more than the sugar count on the label, and how to spot high GI foods hiding behind healthy packaging. Let's start simple. Glycemic index, GI, measures how fast a food raises your blood sugar after you eat it. On a scale from 0 to 100, pure glucose is the benchmark, sitting at 100. Everything else is measured against it. Low GI is 55 or under. Medium is 56 to 69. High GI is 70 and up. Here's the part that trips people up. GI has nothing to do with how much sugar is in a food. It's about how fast your body breaks that food down into glucose and dumps it into your bloodstream. A food can be low in sugar and still break down fast. A food can be high in sugar and still break down slowly because of fiber, fat, or protein slowing digestion down. That's why you can't judge a food by its sugar grams alone. You have to know how quickly it's going to hit you. Let's make this concrete with 2 foods. White bread has a glycemic index around 75. That's high. Your body breaks it down almost as fast as drinking a glass of sugar water. Because refined flour has had almost all its fiber stripped out. Fast digestion, fast glucose spike. Now take lentils. Lentils have a glycemic index around 30, low. Even though lentils contain natural sugars and carbs, the fiber and protein in them slow digestion way down. Your blood sugar rises gradually instead of spiking. Here's the one that really throws people off: watermelon. It tastes like candy, and a lot of people avoid it thinking it's a sugar bomb. Watermelon actually has a high glycemic index, around 72, but a small amount of actual sugar per serving because it's mostly water. So it's high GI, but the glycemic load, the real-world impact of a normal portion, is much lower than you'd expect. That's your first clue that this is more nuanced than sugar bad. So why should you actually care about the number, not just the feeling of this seems healthy? Every time you eat something high GI, your blood sugar rises fast. Your pancreas responds by releasing a burst of insulin to bring it back down. That's normal. That's how the system is supposed to work. The problem is repetition. If you're eating high GI foods multiple times a day, every day, you're asking your body to produce big insulin spikes over and over. Over months and years, that repeated demand is linked to insulin resistance, which is a major driver of prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. It's also tied to the energy crash you feel about an hour after eating something like a bagel or a sugary cereal. The spike, then the crash. Low GI foods don't do this. They release glucose slowly, so insulin is released slowly and steadily, which means more stable energy and less long-term strain on your metabolic system. This isn't about cutting out carbs. It's about choosing the kind of carbs that don't force your body into that spike crash cycle all day. Quick but important distinction, because I mentioned it a minute ago. Glycemic index tells you how fast a food raises blood sugar per gram of carbohydrate. Glycemic load factors in the actual portion size you're eating. That's why watermelon is technically high GI but generally fine in a normal serving. Glycemic load is low because a serving of watermelon isn't carb-dense. Meanwhile, something like white rice has a moderate to high GI and a high glycemic load because a typical serving has a lot of carbohydrate in it. The simplest way to think about it: GI tells you the speed, glycemic load tells you the size of the hit. You want to watch both, but if you only have time to check one thing on a label, GI is the faster warning sign. It tells you immediately whether a food is a spike risk before you even look at portion size. Here's where this gets practical, because high GI foods aren't always the obvious ones. Instant oatmeal, often marketed as heart-healthy breakfast, can have a GI in the 80s once it's processed and flavored, because the oats are broken down so much during processing that they digest almost as fast as sugar itself. Rice cakes, often eaten specifically as a diet snack, have one of the highest glycemic indexes of any common food, sometimes over 80, because puffed rice digests extremely fast. Most breakfast cereals, even the ones with whole grain on the front, are refined enough that they sit in the high GI range. And a lot of gluten-free products, breads, crackers, snacks, replace wheat flour with refined rice flour or potato starch, which often pushes the glycemic index higher than the product they're replacing. The pattern across all of these: heavy processing breaks food down before it even reaches your body, so your body has less work to do. And less work means a faster glucose hit. You don't need to memorize a glycemic index chart for every food you'll ever eat. Here's the practical version. First, favor whole and minimally processed forms of a food over refined versions. Steel-cut oats over instant, whole fruit over juice, brown rice over rice cakes. Second, pair carbs with fiber, protein, or fat, adding peanut butter to toast or eating fruit with nuts instead of alone. Slows digestion and blunts the spike, even without changing what you're eating. Third, don't assume low sugar means low impact. That's the trap this whole video has been about. Sugar grams and glycemic index are two different measurements, and you genuinely need both to know what a food is going to do to you. This is exactly the kind of information that's almost never on the front of the package, and honestly, it's rarely even on the nutrition facts panel. Glycemic index isn't a legally required label, so most of the time you're left guessing. That's the gap Sugar Scanner is built to close. Scan a product's label and we'll break down not just the sugar content, but the ingredients driving glycemic impact, so you're not relying on marketing copy or guesswork. Your first 3 scans are free. Links below. Go scan something in your pantry right now and see what you actually find. Take control of your health today.